Hi everybody, Brett from Starters Gaming here with our first ever Let's Play series. Now I had a really hard time deciding which game I wanted to play for my first Let's Play series. So I decided, screw that, I'm going to pick two. And what I mean by that is we're going to play the Elder Kings mod for Crusader Kings 2. This is essentially Skyrim in Crusader Kings 2. It's taking the Elder Scrolls universe and putting it into a Crusader Kings-like game. In this case, Crusader Kings 2. So without further ado, let's kind of hop in and take a look at this. Now you may notice down here, this is an older version of Crusader Kings 2. I actually had to opt into one of the older releases through the Steam beta menu. And that's because this mod hasn't been updated in quite a while, and it's not compatible with 2.3 point whatever they're on now. So that's no big deal. The menus, however, once we get into the game, are going to be a little bit different than what I'm used to, so kind of bear with me as I stumble through the different menu layouts. I am very familiar with Crusader Kings 2, so it'll just be a matter of finding where the options are on the slightly different menu layouts. Don't mind my little clock here. I'm just using that to help me keep time. I'll try to keep it somewhere that's out of the way. And so we are going to be playing as Whiterun. You see here, this area is essentially Skyrim. Roughly right here. If you've played Skyrim before, you know that the west end of the map ends at Markarth, which is right here, and the eastern part ends, at like, Windhelm and the Rift, which is, Riften's down here, and then Windhelm is essentially here. But we're going to be playing as Whiterun, so right smack in the middle. I know some of you are probably thinking, oh great, the Nords, how boring. And, there are some really interesting choices in this game. For example, you could be playing as the Wood Elves, and you actually have, accurate Wood Elf portraits. Same goes for the Khajiit. That guy has a lot of hair going on. That's probably a more traditional looking Khajiit. You have the Argonians, you have the Dark Elves, the Imperials, and then you head over here and you have the Red Guard. In this game I think they are called the Alakir. You also have, right here, the Reachmen. So these guys, if you played Skyrim, these guys are the people who eventually became the Forsworn. And then you have the Bretons. Oh, no, those are the Orcs, sorry. You have Orcs scattered in here, surrounded by Bretons. And so, maybe after we finish our Nord playthrough, I'll do a couple more series, and it actually might be interesting to play as the Orcs, since I think this is it as far as Orcs go. I've also been pretty interested in playing as Dark Elves as well, so I might do a couple series on this game. But yeah, for now we're going to play as Whiterun, and my ultimate goal in this playthrough is to unite Skyrim. We might try to go a little bit further than that, but I know that me just playing these, I do lose interest after a while, and I know people watching Let's Play series, after a certain amount of episodes, the interest just tails off. And so I'll try to keep these relatively short. I mean, short for a Crusader Kings 2 playthrough. But we'll set a realistic goal and try to accomplish that. So let's go ahead and customize our new king. I kind of had it set up the way I wanted it, and then the game wiped it, so we'll play around with these for a bit. Let's get that beard out of the way. I believe I had his mouth set there. The chin was... that looks fine, I guess. The neck doesn't really do anything. The cheeks I had at 1, the ears were at... I don't really care. I'll just do 4. Eyes, let's make them blue. Now he needs a... that's a pretty good Nord hairstyle. The Nords, the Imperials, you know, all your basic human races, they all used fairly generic Crusader Kings 2 assets for the portraits. But as you can see with the other ones, they all have custom hairstyles. You can see some of the elves in here. They've got custom hairstyles, custom beards. On a lot of them, the neck option will have like face paints or designs. The Khajiit have different manes, different fur patterns, things like that. So you can actually make a pretty cool, really custom looking portrait. There's a lot of detail put into this, so if you guys like the Elder Scrolls and play Crusader Kings 2, this is a great mod to check out. Let's go with like a light blonde. And he's a Nord, so obviously he needs a beard. I like the standard beard. I don't think we need to get too fancy. Yeah, let's go with the basic beard. I'm pretty happy with that. Clothes, we'll go like this. Headgear, that's a pretty, you know, rough and tumble Nord looking crown, so I'm gonna leave that. Background, that looks fine. Okay. Before I move on, I'll just show you, these are all the races you can play as. They've got all the different human options, so, you know, your Imperials, Nords, the Skull, Bretons, Reachmen, Atmorans. I'm not too familiar with those. These are your different elves. These are the you know, the orcs, the dark elves, races that used to be elves and have sort of changed. The Argonians, the Khajiit. You can see there are like different variations of each. There's the undead. You can actually play as a Draugr, which is kind of cool. The Daedra. They have the, you know, just about every race you can think of. The Tengmo are actually apes. It's a race of monkeys. It's pretty cool, actually. And the portraits reflected, too, and you can customize those as well. But let's go ahead and move on. I'm going to do attributes first. And I had a name I really liked. Unfortunately, I don't really remember. Brynjolf. I do like Brynjolf. He's a good character. He reminds me of basically any character played by Sean Bean. Rogvir, Gunnar, King Gunnar, no. King Torbjorn, Solaf, Idolof, Newheim, Ragnar, Tove, Barknar, Ingmar, Woundfirth, Droft, Jolf, or Yolf, Guarding, Trilf, Nelkir, Eifrid, Asgrim, Borgnolf. Einar I kind of like. I think that's a reference to... It's been a long time since I've played Skyrim, but I think there's a reference in a few of the books to a character named Einar, Dragon of the North. So I might go with that. And, you know, maybe this guy will be something... There actually are Dragonborns in this game. You can come across them, and they get a pretty substantial stat boost when they become the Dragonborn. Chances are he won't be, but you know, we can pretend. And then our dynasty name, we're gonna go with something a little bit more Nord sounding. So we're gonna go with Iron Scales. And there's a really cool coat of arms I'm going to use that'll kind of go along with that. So our education, all of the traits in here, well, not all of them, but the majority of the traits in here are actually new and unique to this game. So I'll show you the educational traits. They've actually got what are essentially different classes to kind of reflect the RPG element of Skyrim. So you've got agents, thieves, assassins, nightblades, bards, knights, barbarians, warriors, monks, mages, battle mages, priests, traders, magistrates, pilgrims. I'm probably going to go with the Master Knight trait. So this gives you a little bit of, army bonuses, a pretty big martial skill boost, a little knock to your intrigue, a slight boost in your diplomacy and stewardship, and a slight knock to your learning. 5 years, pretty substantial stat boost all around. Only 2 real negatives, and it's only 1 point each. So I find this one, especially if you plan on doing quite a bit of conquering, this is a nice trait to have. So I'm going to go with that one. They also, I forgot to mention this, they also have religions that reflect, the ones that you read about in the game. So you can choose 8 divines, 9 divines. Although, from what I understand, this takes place before the Third Empire, so before Tiber Septim, who is the 9th divine. So I'm not sure how that comes into play. Maybe in the lore there was a 9th divine before that who was replaced. I don't think so though, because they go from 8 to 9 when Tiber Septim becomes Talos. But I don't know, I'm not a huge Elder Scrolls lore person. I just know what's in Skyrim and Oblivion, and I think I played a little bit of Morrowind. But yeah, if it's not in those 2 games in the lore books, it's usually a little bit above my head. We're gonna stay with the 8 divines. So let's look at traits now. This also has a cool little thing. If you've played Oblivion, at the beginning when you create your character, you choose a birth sign. They've got this in the game as well, and you see none of these penalize you at all. They just give you a slight boost to your stats based on the one you pick. I think I chose the tower last time. Yeah. So a little bit of intrigue to make up for the one we lost from our birth skill thing, educational trait. And a little bit more stewardship, because money is always helpful. Now you got all these traits here, tons and tons. There are some, like a lot of these are from the base game, the more basic traits. And then you've got all these here where you can actually choose different command traits. So these are all like the jungle terrain leader, so you can kind of specialize your character to be effective in, let's say, so Skyrim, we're probably going to go with like rough terrain, maybe even mountainous terrain, and like heavy infantry, because the Nords probably aren't big on cavalry since they're based on Vikings who didn't have horses. Well, actually, did the Vikings have horses? I think they had a few. They didn't really use them in war, though, as far as I know. I mean, they're all about shield walls and things like that. Let's worry about the other traits first, though. We'll do those at the end. You can see there's a lot more like injury traits here. You can be missing your tongue, missing an eye, missing a limb. You can be a skooma addict. I will probably go with wounded, but we'll do that in a second. I am gonna go with quick first, if I can find it. It should be in this vicinity. Quick. So that'll give us +3 to everything, and it'll bump us up to 29. I'm gonna try to keep him in his mid to late 20s. I'd like to, have a decent amount of time to work with this character. There's also different kinds of voices, so you can have a powerful voice, a melodious voice. I'm going to skip those, but I am going to take perceptive. So this will help our martial skill and our intrigue. And let's see, we're Nord, so tall is kind of interesting. That'll give us more martial skill at the cost of a little bit of intrigue. But you know, we're Nord, we're big, we're not supposed to be stealthy. We're a big brutish warrior. I think I went with ambitious last time around as well. I had this all set up and then I alt-tabbed out of the game to get my recording software set up, and it changed everything. It basically reset it back to this guy. So we're doing it all over again. But now you guys will get to see it instead of me just having it there, ready to go. We will take wounded. And then I believe I took proud as well. Proud's actually considered slightly negative, so it's going to give me another year back. Gives you a nice little monthly prestige bonus. Your dynasty will think better of you, but people who are proud or humble aren't going to like you as much. I don't really care about that. You know, prestige is going to help us out. Getting a year back to work with is going to help us out. I'm cool with that. And I think I'll take ambitious, because that's like +1 or 2 to everything. We don't have a liege, so I don't need to worry about what he thinks of us. And so we're 27 years old. Very nice stats. I'm going to go up here and take... There's also like, I don't know what to call these. They're similar to like a class. The one I'm most interested in is Architect, because it's free and it cuts down on build costs and build time. Not in huge amounts, but you know, every little bit helps, and it's free. So why wouldn't you? So we'll take that. That's pretty good. 27, good stats. Got that freebie there. So now let's go look at the military leader traits, and we'll pick, I think we get 3 of them. So I'm going to go with, let's go heavy infantry since we're Nords. Some of these are pure bonuses, some of them have slight trade-offs. So like Organizer here is a good one because, you know, +20 movement, +20 retreat speed. No real penalty there, although there are better ones that you can take that are more specific. I'm probably going to go with rough terrain, since we're going to be dealing with a lot of hills and forests. I checked most of this terrain and it's almost all hills and forests. So we're going to take that one. And then extreme terrain, no, we don't need that. Ooh, unyielding, huh? Unyielding or battlefield terrain master. So narrow flank +50. I would really like both of those. I'm gonna take unyielding. You can also be a werewolf or a vampire if you want. Although I'm not sure, other than these stat hits, I'm not sure what exactly that does. So let's do that. And we'll go to 28 and take one more diplomacy. And I'm pretty happy with this. So we've got Einar Iron Scales, Nord worships 8 divines, solid stats all around. Our learning is our lowest one, and I don't really care about that. So let's look at our coat of arms. There are a lot of custom designs in here. I already know, oops, you're on plain. There are no emblem overlays. So it's basically whatever combination of, you know, the 4 quadrants you use. There are, as you can see, 290 of these, so I'm gonna click through them as quickly as I can. There's unfortunately no faster way to do this. But I already know which one I'm looking for, so it's not like I'm gonna be digging through this all day. And we're going to number 119. I really wish you could like select this and type in the number. Okay, so we've got our scales. I believe there is a nice gray. And then this will be like a goldy bronze copper sort of color. And this one doesn't matter, so I'll just make it black. Okay. And so that's our iron scales. Let's go ahead and finish. And there's our new character. So I'll probably, let's get in game here. We're running a little bit close to the time I'm shooting for. So I think what I'll do is I'm going to break the episode off right here. Yeah. So we're going to make, this will just be our like character creation episode, just to kind of get you guys familiar with where we're starting and the game we're playing. So yeah, I'm going to break this episode off here. Next time around, we're going to go through all of the little things that we want to do before we actually start the clock. But yeah, we're going to save that for the next episode. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope this is, a series that'll interest you. I'm a big fan of both games, Skyrim, well, The Elder Scrolls, and Crusader Kings 2. So this is a nice little mashup for me. Hopefully you guys are as excited for it as I am. So yeah, I will see you guys in the next episode.